Chemical changes. There are many changes happening around us. When we look into kitchen, we can see a number of changes there. Every day we cook food, boil water, we make curd out of milk, etc. And also we can observe that fruits and vegetables in our garden ripens and decomposes. Let's observe some of these changes more closer. Let's observe what happens to the wax when it is exposed to the heat. What is the physical state of wax before it is exposed to the heat? Yes, the wax is in solid state before it is exposed to the heat. What happens to the wax when it is exposed to the heat? Yes, when we expose wax to the heat, it melts into liquid. Did any new substances formed when wax is exposed to the heat? No, no new substances are formed during melting of wax. What happens to the melted wax after few minutes of withdrawal of heat? After few minutes, the wax again condensed into solid. Is the melting of wax a permanent or temporary change? Obviously, the melting of wax is a temporary change. Now let's observe another one activity. Here I have taken a paper and going to cut this paper using a scissor. What is the color of paper? Yes, the color of paper is white. Now I am going to cut the paper into two pieces. Did the color of paper change when it is cut into pieces? No, the color of paper did not change when it is cut into pieces. Did any new substances formed when cutting the paper? Obviously no. No new substances are formed when the paper is cut. So, we can conclude that there are some changes which are temporary in nature and only rearrangement of molecules occur. In such changes, no new substances are formed. These kind of changes are called physical changes. Physical changes are temporary changes where only the rearrangement of molecule occur without formation of new substances. Now let us observe some another kind of changes. Here I have taken a paper and I am going to burn this paper. What happens when the paper is exposed to the fire? Yes, when the paper is exposed to the fire, it catches fire. Did any new compound formed when burning the paper? Yes, the paper burns into ashes. Is it possible to change ash into paper again? No, it is impossible to reverse ashes into paper. Is the burning of paper a permanent or temporary change? Yes, the burning of paper is a permanent change. We cannot reverse ashes into paper. We all like to eat apple. Yes? Okay. What happens to the apple over time? Yes, over the time, apple spoils. Can you find any new compounds formed when the apple is spoiled? Yes, very clearly some new compounds are formed when the apple is sit for few days. Can you tell me that is the spoiling of apple a permanent or temporary change? Yes, very good. The spoiling of apple is a permanent change. So it is very clear that there are some changes which are permanent in nature and new substances are formed. So these kind of changes can be called as chemical changes. Chemical changes are permanent changes where a substance is completely transformed into new substances. So, how we can classify the changes around us? Yes, there are permanent and temporary changes happening around us. In chemical changes, a substance is completely transformed into another, while physical changes are temporary and no new substances are formed. Let's have some follow up activities. Find out 4 examples of chemical and physical changes that can be observed around us. Take a glass of Coca Cola and add a piece of mint candy into it and observe what happens. Are these items good for our health? Demonstrate at your home and explain the after effects of cool drinks to your friends and family.